Thank you so much, everyone, for your patience. We are back once again. Our next game is going to be really spicy, I would say. What do you think, guys? We have Bronze Army, so that's CM Stark, Plato, Cha, Sawcap, Miso Sneaky. They went, I believe, 3-0 coming out of Group A, and then coming out of Group C, Red Dojo also 3-0. So that's Blue Jay, Atomic, Akaram, Natty, and Moo Muse. They will play for third or fourth, and the losers will play for fifth and sixth. What do you know about this team, Cosby and Trix?
Well, I do know that this is the first match out of the sort of winter series. Both the teams here went 3-0 in their bracket. Should be very tightly contested match. Good shot calling on both sides. I know Moose in particular is a very good shot caller. Hopefully he'll be doing that for his team because he always provides a really good sense of direction for his teammates. Really excited to see the draft strategies from both these teams, and I think this is going to be a banger match.
Yeah, I totally agree. Mumu's super analytical player. He's practically an encyclopedia of game knowledge on Predecessor
Wow,
at this
that
point.
is big word, encyclopedia for knowledge, huh?
Yeah, no, he's super into it. He knows, anything about everything there is to know in this game. Item interactions, champion interactions, weird spots on the map. He's got it all. But going back to Bronze Army, what we were talking about with just so many years of playing this game and other games that are just like it, and then we're going up against these newer players. Atomic, a little bit of an old head, but Mew Mew's, Akarim, Blue Jay, they're not from the OG Paragon that at least to my knowledge. So it'll be interesting once again. Similar storyline to when Bronze Army played Sporadic.
Yeah, I remember from Paragon watching like CM Stark's streams as well. And I remember Cha, Sawcap, and Sneaky. Gosh, I just really love those guys, especially like, I don't know if you guys watch Stark's streams. Like his face is like, I don't like it's
the Stark, you
off
mean
to
the
the
Stark
side.
angle? Like,
yes, the Stark angle. Exactly. Thank you for the demonstration, Cosby. Yeah, I really enjoy watching those guys play, which is why I'm like strongly rooting for them. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess a lot of the Red Dojo players are playing NA East. As a NA Wester myself, I'm not really familiar with them, nor do I see them kind of in the streaming scene. So I don't really know too much about Red Dojo.
Yeah, so like we were talking about just earlier, Mew Mew's super smart. He's actually subbing in for Wangle, who is like their normal offlaner.
Oh yeah, everybody loves that Wangle smile.
Yeah,
I remember he was like he was on the Hunt of Heroes tournament not so long ago, and I know a lot of people were kind of shall I say simping for him. So
oh yeah,
he's unfortunately kicking some balls, as in soccer balls. So
yeah, they're all great guys. It's really hard to root against one of these teams because Bronze Army, everybody's just so nice and chill. And then same thing on Red Dojo. You have Akara. She's just so nice, cracked support player. I'm looking to see like big plays come out of the duo side of Red Dojo.
Yeah. Does Akaram and Mew Mew's have like their personal favorites? Who do you think they'll be playing in these in this coming match?
So I've known Moo to be mainly a mage player. I've seen him play Gideon. I've seen him play Howitzer and Gadget all in the off lane. So don't really see him as a standard tank frontline bruiser. Might kind of throw a curveball in the draft here with his champ pool.
Oh, yeah. As a mid laner myself, I love hearing that. But we're going to go ahead and go to the next game. So let's take it away, Spooky and Lance.
Hello, everybody. I am Lance once again here with my good friend Spooky Mars. Oh, I'm showing the wrong hand. Here he is, Spooky Mars. We are going to get you into this game to find out. Both of these teams have already qualified for our main event on the 29th. This is going to find out who is playing for 3rd and 4th seed or who is playing for 5th and 6th. So congratulations to both of these teams. You can catch them again 2 weeks from now on Saturday. And we are just about to get into this game. Spooky, do you have any initial thoughts you'd like to share with us before we get into our cast today?
Last, over time, I've learned that my initial thoughts are always the worst ones to give because somehow, no matter how much prep work I do, these teams always just blow it out of the water and prove me completely wrong. So all I'm going to say is that I'm excited to be. I'm excited to see what these teams are going to do. More importantly, I'm excited to see who is going to take this third seed spot, who's going to be knocked down to that loser's position and try to battle for a slightly worse seed. Either way, no matter what happens here, Lance, I think we're in for a great show.
Right, and this is an important one. Teams are definitely trying to get to that third seed out of our bracket here, trying to get off of that side of the bracket that our reigning champions are on, the back-to-back, two-back champions Team Immune at Fang booth over there. So it looks like we are going to get into draft here quick. The first one's going to come through soon. Just got to give a shout out to our amazing production team. Look at these draft graphics. Look at these scrolling purple figures in the background. Stinky Drongo's coming through right now. Just absolutely gorgeous. Shout out to our production team. TDM, Choice Plays, Hot Sauce. Choice Plays is on the 1s and 2s today. We're gonna get that first ban coming out of Red Dojo. They're gonna ban Sevrog. I do want to say I've got a little bit of inside knowledge. If anybody does know me throughout this game at all, I am very associated with this Red Dojo team. I'm the community manager for their Discord. I schedule all their scrims, help them get their roster in place. Very familiar with what they are looking to do in this pick draft phase here. The Decker ban is going to come out of Bronze Army.
I mean, hey, you've got all the insider knowledge. Like, what are you doing over here instead of in there right now? I would expect you to be opening your boys up a little bit, but you're going to see this first pick come through, Howitzer. I'm imagining that's something you've kind of been expecting to see.
So that's something I expect to see out of pretty much every game. Spooky, Howitzer is the prio pick in this game, in this meta right now. People are either going to be drafting it or first picking Howie. If you're not picking that up in first rotations or banning it, I think you're griefing. Bronze Army is going to answer. We got Lieutenant Belisha and Richter coming through here. So looking to get those good polls.
Who?
Bellica, I love the Belisha thing. I'm waiting for her to die on screen so I can hit him with the Friday bye Belisha line. It's coming. You just wait for it, okay? And then, wow, good prio picks coming out of here. Red Dojo's going to get Rampage and Gideon. So they got probably the biggest tank in the game, especially with the Sevrog banned out. And they are going to get the Gideon. So here comes the double mage comp, it looks like, out of Red Dojo.
I mean, this is something the Bronze Army faced earlier today, though, right? They faced this Howitzer, they faced the Gideon, and it wasn't an issue for them. I can't imagine they're feeling too terrible about the draft that Red Dojo has put in front of them so far. They've shown that they have answers for it. I'm expecting to even see this Kira come back out for Bronze Army because it was such a powerhouse in their earlier game.
I definitely agree with that. I do think it is a little bit different considering the fact that that game that they played against the dual mages, they did put them in both of the side lanes and ran that those ADCs and support down the mid lane. So we'll see if that's going to change at all. It looks like the first ADC prio'd is actually going to be Murdoch. I'm a little surprised to see that personally. And wow, they're just going to choke him out. They go for Gadget as well.
And man, if you can get 3 mages, I guess they just go ahead and get 3 mages. It shouldn't be much of an issue for Bronze Army. They did top pick Lieutenant Bellica there, and we've seen them run that in the mid lane already. Richter's most likely going to be their support. So I can't say they're probably feeling too bad about losing this Gadget. But I do wonder where Red Dojo is going to be placing each of these mages. As the community manager for them, I would hope you might enlighten us.
I do have a little bit of insight on this. If anybody knows Moomoose, who is subbing for the Lips of a Wangle today, Moomoose is a Gideon fanboy for sure. That guy has got more games on Gideon than I think I've got games total, and I play pretty much everybody. He's the pioneer of the starting 5 Codex tech. You might see that out of him. It's a little spicy, but we'll see if it comes out or not. I'm imagining this is Alcon support on that Gadget. She is the most support-ish kind of character. Howitzer actually is a pretty decent support as well, but I think he's just such a priority and power pick right now that putting him onto support when you've got these other options available is a little bit of a waste of the potential that Howitzer can get to. He's got that super long range. He's got that pick potential. Not probably going to be too surprised to see the Gadget running in support, the Gideon off lane, and the Howitzer mid from my guesstimations. I also know that Atomic, the mid laner for Red Dojos, just hates Gadget for some reason. Just doesn't like playing her. So probably we're not going to see that. The thing that I think will be interesting to see is if Bronze Army does some adaptation and decides to either put Grux or Feng Mao into that off lane to take on that matchup of going into a mage. Probably pretty difficult picking Feng Mao into Oh, actually, probably a little bit more difficult to pick Grux into those mages than
Yeah.
Feng Mao, as we do see Feng Mao in the mid lane every once in a while because he's got that escapability and the ability to kind of get away from the pokes, shield some of it up with his Q. What do you expect in here, Spooky?
Well, Lance, you kind of turned it on its head for me. I was actually going to ask you what you thought was going to be in that lane matchup. I do tend to agree, though. I do think it would be Feng Mao faring a little bit better going against one of those mages, just because a little bit more mobility, has that shield like you mentioned, and he has a little bit more burst to kind of match what these mages put out. Not necessarily the traditional burst that you would see from a mage, but the fact that he doesn't actually have to fully kill you. He doesn't have to 100-0 you. He has an execute in the kit, and that gives him a little bit more kill pressure, which should allow him to roam around the map a little bit more. And that's the main thing you're looking for in that mid lane. Someone who cannot just hold the lane, but leave the lane and have an impact in those other lanes as well, and try to get you an advantage in that jungle.
They could always just throw it on its head too. I know that the person who was generous enough to let our last caster DJ use his living room was looking for somebody to say that Grux can be a viable support. And I don't know that viable is the word, but it can work.
It's the word.
And Richter can be a decent offlaner. So there is that real small chance that they throw Richter off into the offlane, throw Grux under the support with the Kira, and just lock everybody down CC-wise when the Kira tries to ult with all that Grux CC. But Richter's kind of got all that CC anyway, so I'm not sure how much that would benefit them. But it'll be really interesting to see poor Braun's army. Both times we've gotten to see them on stream today, they've gotten sent up against a really unconventional comp. And with the game in the infancy like it is right now, where, you know, there's only, what is there, 23, 24 heroes right now, not a whole lot you can really do composition-wise to be unique and different. But poor Braun's army's gone up against the entire navy of it today.
I mean, this isn't a terrible thing for them either, because you look at the draft of Braun's army right now, they've got some really good damage, but more important, they have very good frontline. This is the thing that is missing from Red Dojo right now. Sure, you have a Rampage, but you got Howie, Gideon, and Gadget. Those aren't going to be the tankiest characters in the game. Certainly not in this match, because that title is going to be going over to Richter. So how do you really find yourselves in these fights? The key is that Red Dojo is going to be looking to just kind of poke Braun's army down before fully engaging. But if Braun's army doesn't allow them to do that, if they don't step into position and they just force the issue, I think Red Dojo may struggle in these fights as the game goes on.
So we did get a peek at this. We do see that it is Sockap piloting the Richter. It's CM Stark on the Grux. So that's going to be an offlane Grux. That's going to be a support Richter, just kind of as we had anticipated it. The mashings are not what I expected out of Red Dojo, actually, as it does look to be Atomic on the Gideon. So they've decided Atomic is a better Gideon than Mumus. You heard it here first. Mumus is on the Howitzer, and that's going to put Akram onto the Gadget. So just taking a little bit of a peek at each other. They did start all grouped together, but not quite able to find each other out. They did get a ward down onto the red buff.
See, it's not that he's the better Gideon. It's just that Moo is the better Howitzer. Right? That's what we're going to go with there.
I like that. I think that I won't mention that to Atomic because he'd probably disagree with you.
Well, someone's going to be unhappy either way, and they're just going to have to deal with that. I think. Wait a second.
I'm wrong for a third time. It is actually Akram that is going to be on the support Howitzer. So like I said before, Howitzer's actually a pretty viable support. He's got a lot of ways to poke at the enemies that when they can't hit him. He's also got that knock back with his E. He's got that slow with his right mouse button. Lots of ways to disrupt the enemy team as a Howitzer.
Definitely has. Well, you said it, disruptive, but does he have a way out? Riplash pulls him right on in. But hang on, he's getting the better end of that trade. Sneaky, not quite in position to help put the damage down there. Sockap, he ends up losing half his health bar, pulling someone in. That's not what you want to see.
Yeah, and that's through the passive Richter shield as well. So that's exactly what we were just talking about. All of that damage that can be put out from a Howitzer. He's got that empowered basic attack that does extra damage, gets him that extra mana as well. Like, holy cow, they just chunked the heck out of that. Oh, and an early gank comes through.
Hey, Plato is here. Not going to be able to find too much, though. Just trying to alleviate some pressure. And this is such an interesting thing to have to deal with. Right? You can see Plato still around the area. You just saw him on that ward up on the upper right side there. But looking at this, right, how do you even deal with this Howitzer support? It's like you said, he's got disruption, he's got range, damage. Do you just have to pressure him early and hope you can get an early kill?
Yeah, so one of the big things that will make a difference is getting to that level 2 spot on Sock Cap, getting that silence so that if you do pull Howitzer in, he can't just immediately disengage and then half health you like what you saw level 1. Once Richter gets that point into Q, can hook him in, hit him with the silence, turn Howitzer's screen gray for a little bit, and then all of a sudden Howitzer's half health instead of the opposite way around. So just needing to get that second level out of Sock Cap, and I think we'll see a little bit of a change over there in the duo lane.
Shouldn't take us too long to get there, as indeed Richter is on that level 2 mark right now. Expect to see a little bit more aggression coming out there soon. Meanwhile, though, in this mid lane, is kind of the same story. The poke is just getting to Bronze Army. Belica, half health right now. Meanwhile, his Gideon is super healthy. Atomic's taking like no damage at all. Where does Bronze Army go here? Is this in the game plan? Are they okay having the slow start? Maybe not the slowest start. Richter in some trouble. Very low, but under the tower. It's not going to provide any safety. Yatan finds the kill. First blood goes to the Dojo.
Yeah, great job over there by Natty, also known as Yatan. It's just his name backwards on screen for some reason. Great job getting that first blood out. Good gank coming in from Blue Jay as well. I know that during our desk analyst, we had said a lot about Mumus being one of the primary shot callers, but if you've ever been in a game with Blue Jay, he is the voice you are hearing. Blue Jay knows where to be, when to be, and Blue Jay is the brains and eyes for this team right now. He's their team captain as well. Just a really, really solid all-around player. Keep your eyes on Blue Jay for as long as you can see him on screen, because that man makes incredible plays.
You will have to keep an eye on him for some time here throughout the game. Right now, he kind of shifted to a slower portion, right? Got that first blood. Did not go the way Bronze Army was hoping. It does favor Red Dojo.
We got a gank coming into the mid lane. Here's Blue Jay once again, right on cue. He's going to hit him with it. Belica's pretty immobile. She's going to have to blink away. Still pursuing it. She's trying to get the happy feet out.
He's on out of there. Feng Mao turns up, just putting the pressure back around, forcing Red Dojo to take a step back. As the reliability you like to see from your jungler there. Shows up when you need him, forces the aggression back towards Red Dojo. They have to break from that.
That should secure both of the second rotation of river buffs over for Red Dojo as well. So getting a little bit of a experience lead, a little bit of a mana lead out of that as well. It looks like Akram and Natty were able to just secure that gold buff. So that's a little bit of extra change in their pocket as well. Mumus is just over here doing his best Tang impersonation, playing the gadget off lane. Not quite to that level of my boy Tang, but Mumus is trying his damnedest for sure.
Yeah, you can thank Tang for a lot of these weirder off-lane picks here. I mean, we've seen him take the Howitzer. We've seen them take a lot of interesting things in their games. I'm always interested to see these teams and how they adapt to that and start making it their own. So we're seeing more teams take this gadget, put it over there, try to start leveling that up. Do you think we'll start seeing more of the Sevarog mids as well?
So I do think that there's a huge place for Sevarog mids, but hold on a second. We got a good hook.
Man. Good Riplash, but the Shadow Glide is chasing this blink away. Plato has the aggression, and he's no way out. Kills across the board. Miso Sneaky puts one down, and now Howitzer goes down as well. As 2 kills the dual lane and 1 on the solo side as well. Bronze Army answered back.
Yeah, great job coming in there by is Plato in the jungle for them, right? Plato on Feng Mao, really great positioning to get there at the right time. It looked like Akram on the Howitzer was going to flash in there and get a really, really good body block boop out of there to kind of save them. Still were able to have that pursue, able to chunk it down, and now it looks like they're going to move on to that first large objective of the game as they have got 5 men gathered around the Fangtooth pit.
5 strong, but they're not the healthiest still. They have taken some damage from the last fight. And indeed, it's Red Dojo who gets the starting point on this one. Look at the ward coverage from Red Dojo. They know that the Bronze Army is not around. What excellent game sense here. They know that Bronze Army has to reset after that fight. And so upon respawn, they just go straight to the objective. And they say, hey, we might have lost the kills, but this objective is free.
Right, and that's, I mean, just great positioning, great map awareness out of Red Dojo there. Knowing that the death timers are short at this period of the time, or period of the game, they've got a coach that is doing a lot of like insight into this game for them. They've got the Uruguayan faker Sagittarius coming in for them and doing coaching sessions with them twice a week. One of the things we focused on this week is how long it takes to base and then run back to lane. and we timed it from the time you push B to the time you die to when you spawn to how you get there. So these numbers are really fresh in Red Dojo's head. Should be able to make quick and smart rotations today.
Man, this is definitely a more absorbent team than I have ever been. Because you tell me those numbers, and I guarantee you I will forget them before my next game. I could queue up right after.
I sat through the session, and they're out of my head for sure. I have no idea. I know it's like roughly a minute 20. But it's different for each lane because of the lengths of them. But it looks like they're going to be able to secure another gold buff for themselves here. Ooh, as actually it looks like Moose is in a little bit of trouble. The black hole is going to come out from Gideon. Moose is going to have to run away, just only holding on to the alchemical rod right now. But Gideon is going to pick it up. That's my boy Atomic getting a kill in the mid, trying to even up this kill score, sitting 2-3 in the favor of Bronze Army still.
That's a good answer back from the Red Dojo, and they've got the pressure now. I mean, just look at Plato try to clear this wave under the tower. He can't do it. He doesn't have mana, and he's getting poked down by Atomic on this Gideon. This is just a pressure across the board that Red Dojo has. If they can keep this up and start translating it to some of these lane rotations, that's where I think this is really going to get bigger for them, because so far we've only seen them hold pressure in their respective lanes, and they've kind of crumbled to ganks.
Yeah, big secure of the river buff again after being able to poke Plato out there. Atomic's able to sneak down there, get a pink buff, keep himself from having a base, as he was pretty at that point. And oh, here we go. CM Stark is going to get spotted out walking back into it here. A lot of poke down on him already, as Moose is, able to just kind of stay safe. And this is one of the reasons we're seeing a lot of gadget play over in the offlane. How far away she can poke from you. And then this gate that he's about to have up in 1 second here. This is being perfect for it, okay? So he jumps on it like that, and all you have to do is put that gate down. He steps on it, you step on it, you're faster than him while he is rooted. And then you just take him into another spot where you can zone and do the fight where you want. That hat might pick him up. Not quite enough. Okay, so he's going to have to blink away so that the Fang Mao doesn't chase him down here. He is completely out of mana. The Snipe's going to miss out of Natty as well, which is too bad. CM Stark's going to get away with just a little bit of health here.
Man, that is just tragic. I mean, they went all in trying to kill Moo there, and they just can't do it. The damage isn't quite there right now. I think if you're trying to put 3 people onto Mew at this point, you gotta have them all there, right? Sure, Natty just has to fire the ultimate, but he's off the mark, doesn't quite find it. The CC had already been used, and at that point, you're 50-50 in that shot. You don't have the setup to guarantee it. I think that follow-up has to come in a little bit sooner if you actually want to get that kill. But even so, that long arm of the law, that wasn't going to kill Moo. That's just another resource expended by the Bronze Army for nothing gained.
Definitely, and it does look as if they are starting to get this line of vision as the second Fang Tooth is about to pop up, trying to make sure that they're good and prepared for the Fang Bang before it pops off. Gonna get a lot of good poke off onto Miso Sneaky. That's exactly what they're trying to do. Get the members of the map. Oh, it is a little bit too soon for them to really, that poke in the base to really matter for Fang Tooth to be spawning here. But it is about a minute and a half away. They're trying to do what they can. Still no towers have fallen in this. I am a little surprised to see that. It looks as if Bronze Army probably has a little bit more chipped into the turrets of Red Dojo than the opposite, but still fairly even. I'd love to get a CS score because we are very, very tight in this game at the 11:30 minute mark. And as this game continues, I like to think that it continues to go into the favor of Bronze Army because of the composition that they have playing into the 3 mages. Yes, that damage is going to be insane for Red Dojo later, but other than Rampage, they don't have a whole lot of tanking for it, and it is going to be semi-easy for Bronze Army to build around that. Bellica gets stronger and stronger the later the game goes with her passive. Moose is going to ult to clear the wave really quick. Going to hit a base. He knows he can't fight right now because of the lack of mana. But as I'm saying, if this game holds tight and Red Dojo isn't able to get an early advantage, I start to lean more and more into the favor of Bronze Army.
Yeah, this next Fang Tooth is going to be integral for Red Dojo. If they can get this, they can start building themselves a little bit of a bigger lead. But if Bronze Army is able to match them here, if they're able to step up and take the fight, and even worse, take the Fang Tooth away, that is just good news for Bronze Army.
Big lack of vision coming out on Red Dojo's. Okay, I was going to say they may be hitting the Orb Prime fight, but here comes Plato on the Fang Mao over into the... Ooh, nice rock!
This
Gonna make
is
it rain.
massive. Plato stunned down. Atomic is here with the rotation. Can they find a kill? Plato is forced out, and there's the black hole coming out from the Atomic. The rotation has happened from across the map. The Grux has arrived, and they are slamming in for the damage. Blue Jay goes up. The Behemoth is here, and he puts Stark down. Plato looking for a flank, but can he find anything? Still, Ocker just keeps poking them away. Plato finds one. It's a 1-for-1 trade. They lose a tower on the right side.
Yeah, it's a 1-for-1 trade, but they're going to lose their tier 1 over in the off lane right now as Mumus is even proxying the wave, getting that second wave. As our wonderful desk mentioned before, Mumu is a calculator when it comes to this game. This dude understands the ins and outs of it. He's been in the internal testing for a long time. He's a spreadsheet, honestly, when it comes to this game. Every time I have a question about how something works or what an appropriate build is, the only thing I type into my DMs to talk to is, hey, Mumus, what the heck do I do here? So definitely getting smart, being able to recognize that that was a 4v5 on the other side of the map. So splitting 1-for-1 is pretty good. And then getting the tower as the benefit. Go ahead, Spooky,
trouble here. Plato has made the rotation. He's going to take Mu down. Unfortunately, the encyclopedia is still a book, and a book can be closed. And so ends this chapter of Mu's particular lane phase.
Oh, I need a second of recovery here from that one. That was beautiful. It does look as though we have got a second Fangtooth push going on, though, as Plato did show over in the offlane, so they know they've got the hunt secure right here. Here it comes through. Unfortunately, our banner is covering up the health of the objectives right now, so unable to tell you that, but they got it. Big fights coming through.
Brown's army is looking for something, but Atomic has no interest in this, but they are not going to be allowed to leave so easily into the corridor. And there goes me so sneaky already. Huge setup for Atomic. The black hole pulls them in, and this is the event horizon for Bronze Army. Gideon finds one more. Richter is no more. Red Dojo makes out like bandits. 3 kills and the Fangtooth.
Yeah, so that's gonna spring them on top of the leaderboard here. Get that second Fangtooth. That's gonna give you that extra movement speed out of combat. That's also going to give them a little bit of golden experience globally. But the big thing is that huge team fight after. Atomic got that massive black hole off. Gonna be able to get a lot of extra gold for getting those kills, even though it is only 7-6 in the game still. Just a huge turning point for Red Dojo, and they need to make that happen here soon. This is the midpoint of the game. This is where they're particularly strong, and this is when they need to strike.
Yeah, it's like I always say, right? The kills don't really matter all that much. It's about the momentum that you can get in a game. Even if the game is even from a gold standpoint, if you can win a fight like that, it puts all the momentum in your favor. You can just sweep across the map and look to do whatever you want. And now Red Dojo wants this little prime right here. They're going to be able to get this without too much trouble. You can see there's not a whole lot of response readily available from Bronze Army. All they can do is try to push down these lanes, try to get a tower for their end.
And
that's not going to be able to find too much.
That's great timing from Red Dojo to do that as well. They had just knocked down the other 2 tier 1 towers, so that entire side of the map becomes part of their territory. They are able to recognize that Bronze Army cannot move into this Orb Prime pit area safely without us catching vision of it. They know it's safe to take it, so they make their move. Great to see it. Ooh, and Plato's going to try to get a gank off. Akram is not quite into the right spot, so Yotan is alone, but he was spotted, so Natty should be able to play safe enough over here on the Murdoch.
Yeah, just being spotted out there, I think, is enough to dissuade Plato from trying anything funny there. Sure, he could have tried to force it, but by the time you've been seen, it's like you say, Natty knows, okay, well, there's a jungler here. What if I just hang back by this tower? At that point, you're just kind of wasting time. So wise of Plato to look for something else to do. Just shift your attention elsewhere. But the problem right now is there's not a lot of places for him to shift. He has stumbled into Atomic, but the way these fights have been going, I don't think Atomic is the one that he wants to run into.
Definitely not. That Gideon is absolutely massive at this point in the game right now. Not a whole lot of really good people to run into for Plato. Probably making the right choice trying to gank over there into the duo lane.
Oh, Shaw is in some trouble here. Atomic goes up into the air, and he's getting burst down as well. Plato has made me eat my words. I told you this always happens. But into the sky, great immunization from Cha. The Bellica stands strong, but for how long? It's so low. Health pop comes out, but I don't think that's enough. It is enough to keep him alive.
Support how he feels bad.
No way!
Oh, I know our dog is loving that as a Bellica enjoyer, seeing her get out with 1 health. That's all. She's got to be dancing in her seat right now. Wow, Moonmoose is going to come through, get the Tesla Dome out, be able to pick up the kill on the Sock Cap as well. And it really is just looking like Red Dojo is getting into the driver's seat of this game.
Yeah, right now they're at the point where they know they have some gas in the tank. They're trying to snowball this as much as they can, pushing themselves just a few kills further forward, looking at these tier 2s. Over here on the right side, though, is still a split push coming out from Grux. He is going to get matched by Atomic here. And look at that damage. This is disgusting.
He's going to eat forward on him. Yeah, he's in trouble. There's no mana. There's no way for this Grux to run away. CM Stark is in a little bit of a pickle here, but it doesn't look like Atomic is chasing him down too seriously, actually.
Yeah, he should be able to get out. Atomic had the choice. He could have gone for the black hole, but you really want to expend the Gideon ultimate on a single target on the right side of the map while the rest of your team is grouping up on this left side? Probably not with Fangtooth coming up.
Yeah, also at that given time, 4 people did peek on the left side after Atomic had given up on that chase, but at the time they weren't aware of where they were at. Probably wise for him not to chase that too much further past the river. Don't want to get into a spot where you can try to, give away some of this free gold on a shutdown or anything for him that you do not need to.
I love free gold.
I know you love free gold. I love free gold too. I like it when my enemies give me free gold, but not when my teammates do. And sadly, that seems to be the end of the spectrum I'm on most of the time.
You and me both, my friend. In fact, I'm probably the one on your team giving away the gold. I'll be completely honest with you. But check this out. Fangtooth has been started up. It's by Bronze Army. Red Dojo, they are in the know. Up into the sky and over the wall comes Howitzer. But it's not enough to secure the Fangtooth. Can Bronze Army get backed out? It doesn't look like it. Sock Cap is the first casualty of this match. Miso Sneaky trying to push forward, finding the crossbow bolts. They just do not have the damage they need. Look at Atomic. Oh, this is huge. The black hole comes through. It locks one down, but he goes into the immune. Bellica's still alive, but cha-cha, bye-bye. He goes down, and not sneaky enough. Bronze Army, they snuck a Fangtooth, but now they're going to lose an Orb Prime.
Yeah, they're going straight for that 20-minute orb off that. You get four enemies down. There's not a whole lot they can do. Fortunately, it is their jungler that is up for Bronze Army, but it's going to be a suicide if they decide to run in here and try to steal this away from them. Probably wise for them to just give it, and then this is going to put a lot of pressure onto Bronze Army. The 20-minute orb prime puts so much extra power into you compared to where you're at that stage in the game. Yeah. Very, very hard to clear waves against a 21-minute orb prime.
It's going down pretty slow, though. Look at the damage it's dealing back to them. It finally does die as Richter steps in, but he's getting melted down. He's got the backup. Grux is there as well. They're trying to find some way to take a kill down, but Blue Jay has none of that. He's dangerously low as well. Stark still chasing, and he finds one. Can he find another? The Tesla Dome will push the Bronze Army away. He's so sneaky for the damage, but they recognize that they're only going to get the one. And honestly, they should just be happy with that.
Yes, they should be. It did look as if they were going to get a couple more from it as well at the beginning of that fight with the way that Sock Cap on the Richter pulled into there. I thought they were going to be able to potentially negate that because of the damage that they were taking from Orb Prime, like you were mentioned it as if you were a prophet, Spooky.
Well, unfortunately, I'm not a prophet. And it did indeed not do enough damage to turn that around for Bronze Army. It was incredibly close, though. Red Dojo maybe feeling a little bit lucky at the end of that one. They really got away by the skin of their teeth on it. I think it was just a miscalculation on the engagement from Bronze Army. I think they were too focused on thinking, hey, the orb is still alive. Let's try to steal it. Rather than thinking, let's go in together and just wipe Red Dojo once they have it.
Right, and that is a great way of delaying some of that pressure. We were talking about how hard it can be to clear those minion waves and how much of an impact that 21-minute orb prime can have. But if you start a team fight immediately when it's done, they've got that little bit of a power spike, but you can still kind of fight with them a little bit. You can waste a lot of the time that they had with this, because now they had to reset as well. So probably over half the Orb Prime duration is over for them already, and they haven't even claimed a tower with this yet. Oh, maybe they got the tier 2 in right. My apologies.
Yeah, Atomic tried to go for the hero play there. Black Hole immediately canceled. Miso Sneaky, though, also has his run canceled out by Natty. Now, Akum looking for a kill, but pulled out of the sky and put down. It's not enough. Sock Cap eat some damage from Natty. The ADC is here, and with this Orb Prime buff, this inhibitor tower stands no chance of surviving the siege. Now turning their attention towards this tier 2 in mid.
I wasn't sure if Sean knew they were there for a second. I thought he was going to sneak up behind him, bop him on the back of the head, caveman style.
If they were allowed to sneak up on Cha there, I'm going to have some questions for Cha. Like, what were you looking at when your inhibitor fell? What is that damage?
Look at that support. How is there damage? At this point in the game, he's got the Megacosm, the Combustion, 2 Codexes online, also the Orb Prime buff. Holy cow! That was so much damage. Missing the crest, of course, going the Reclamation to keep Natty safe, but man, just absolutely chunking. And that's one of the powers of the 3 mage. And yep, just like that. Support Howitzer, told you.
Oh my goodness, the damage just blows Miso Sneaky out of the water. This tower is not going to be long for this world. Red Dojo, they're looking to step up. They're looking to finish this one up. Moo is all the way up on the core already. What a displacement mine coming from Akram. Just forcing Sockcap into the gray screen once more. This looked like an end game siege here as 5 members of Red Dojo step forward. Only 3 defenders from the Bronze Army make it 2 as Plato goes down. And this game is all for the Dojo.
Yes, it does look as if this is going to be over. So GG's to Red Dojo for sure. Bronze Army not out of it for the day. Also not done playing yet. They will be playing for our 5th or 6th seed. That is going to elevate Red Dojo into playing for our 3rd and 4th. They're actually going to play the winners of the next game that we will be broadcasting for you as well, between Rogue and Royalties, which I think is probably the game of the day so far. That we're going to show. That is a clash of titans that are not that are now qualified for our main event, but we haven't seen them there yet. A lot of familiar faces on Rogue, but let's focus in onto this game really quick. What did you think about that triple mage comp, Spooky?
I mean, it really just accelerated exactly where Red Dojo needed it to. Once we hit the mid game, Red Dojo just said, "Okay, guys, it's time to start grouping up. It's time to start team fighting around." And that's where they excelled. At that point in the game, Bronze Army didn't have their frontline online. They weren't super tanky. They weren't unkillable monsters. They were still feeling the damage that Red Dojo was able to put out. Those Tesla domes, those black holes, the combined area of effects just tore through the health bars.
Exactly. Yeah, we talked about, it can't get to late game because we don't want those tanks to turn into these unkillable monsters for them. We don't want Feng Mao to get to the point that he can just assassinate every single member on Red Dojo's teams. So right around that 15-minute mark, we noticed that they were starting to get ahead. And what did? They just put the foot on the gas. They got straight to that 20-minute or prime buff, and they won the game with it. Did it just like that. Didn't give it a chance to hit the late game. Really good execution from Red Dojo.
And it really did feel like Bronze Army could have turned that game around that Orb Prime if they'd been just a little bit more patient. If Sockcap had gone in with a little bit more backup, a little bit more follow-up to his CC, we're probably seeing a wipe against Red Dojo at that point. They didn't have that. He went in a little bit early, found his Riplash, looked for the CC, and said, "Oh, there's no damage."
Yeah, no damage to follow it up at all. So yeah, that is the conclusion of the first of our qualifiers seeding matches. We are going to take a quick little bit of a break, and we will be back with Royalties versus Rogue to find out who will play Red Dojo, find out who will play Bronze Army. We'll be right back. Can't wait to see you then.